Unbelievable! Incredible! Unbelievable!
Save! And Spark are champions!
Good on Pepe! Goal! It doesn't get any better than that!
Hello everyone, welcome to the Game and Frame live stream. I'm Josh Pratt and we're at Randall's Island tonight for the Pancyprian Freedoms against Central Park Rangers. The American Premier Soccer League is in the business end of the season with everything still to play for at either end of the table. The Pancyprians have a road to reclaiming the APSL league title laid out in front of them. 13 points from their next 5 games will do it, and the Freedoms will certainly want to secure the silverware in those 5 games. Failure to do so will mean it will all come down to a final day showdown against Lansdowne Yonkers. The Pancyprians visitors this evening. Central Park Rangers are enduring a difficult second half of the season. They took just 2 points from 5 games in March, and that poor form has left them in real danger of being dragged into the thick of the relegation scrap. And what a chaotic scrap it is. Just 6 points separates Nyack in 6th place from Vistula at the bottom. You'd be brave to try and guess who will be sitting in the drop zone come May 18th. And it's not an understatement to say at this moment every game between the bottom 7 in the league is a relegation 6-pointer. Vistula play one of those games tonight against Sum Snyder. If Vistula win or draw, the relegation battle becomes even tighter. And we should also note Doxa are hosting Lansdowne Yonkers this evening, which is another consequential game at either end of the table. The Pancyprians have beaten Central Park Rangers in all 3 of their meetings in the APSL. And CPR's record against the top 3 this season won't give them much extra encouragement. They've lost all 4 of those games, conceding 21 goals. So on paper, you'd certainly expect this to be a relatively routine win for the Pancyprians, but you never know with the American Premier Soccer League. Let's see if CPR can produce something special to reverse their fortunes and throw a spanner in the Pancyprians' quest for silverware. And we have our expected starting lineups for tonight. In goal, Josh Levine returns for the Pancyprians. Jack Sloys and Jens Hoff in front of him. Devon Hinu at left back. Dylan Woods at right back. Jordan Bailon is going to sit in front of them with Samir Fathazada alongside him. And then Juan Moreno will start in the number 10 in place of Joe Holland, who is in the squad but has just complained a little bit of a knee problem. So of course they don't want to risk Holland. I'm sure we'll see him at some point. And then the front 3 is going to be James Tristino on the right side. And Tristino is now sitting on 10 goals in the APSL season and scored against Central Park Rangers when they last met. Sebastian Ruiz on the left wing. And Junior Rosero, who hasn't had too many starts for the Pancyprians this season, but certainly has plenty of goals in him. He'll be leading the line. And Rosero also scored against Central Park when these 2 teams last met, and that was actually on the opening day of the season. So a comfortable win for the Pancyprians, 4-0 at Roosevelt Island. This game rescheduled from when it was originally meant to be last Sunday due to the Pancyprians having an Open Cup game, which they won very comfortably, 6-0. Of course, the Pancyprians, I shouldn't say Open Cup, the Amateur Cup. The Pancyprians, of course, the defending Amateur Cup champions nationally. And didn't have too bad of a run in the Open Cup either. Made the 2nd round. Played that a week ago. Lost narrowly to Westchester Soccer Club, the USL 1 side. But all eyes now back on the league. If the Pancyprians win, they further strengthen their grip on the league title. Still a distance to go after tonight, but they will be edging closer. Now for Central Park Rangers, our expected starting 11 is going to be Beto Spielvogel, who's making his APSL debut. He might be a busy man tonight. He'll be in goal. Chris Valentin, Turpak and Omo Sanya, the three centre-backs protecting him. Jimmy Barrios, the left wing-back. Peter Berry at right wing-back. Mohamed Miri and Matthew Berinja will be the centre midfielders. David Brown on the left wing. Cameron Barfield's the right wing. And actually we are just waiting to see who's going to be the number 10 and their centre forwards. Looks as if it's going to be Max Cherry in the line, but we'll just confirm that momentarily. Now it's quite a changed Central Park Rangers side from the one that faced the Pancyprians on the opening day. Made new signings. And my maths is truly awful. It's only one player is missing for CPR, and that is Max Cherry, who is going to be the centre forward. So CPR are going to be playing effectively a 5-4-1. Or you could call it a 3-4-3 when they have the ball. And we are off. Pancyprians looking to tighten their grip on the top of the APSL Metropolitan table. 5 games is all that it could take them to win it now, as they had an early attack forwards. There was Juan Moreno who was surging through the middle. There was some coming together, referee judging not enough contact to warrant the whistle being blown. It's quite a chilly night here for April, seeing about 40 degrees. There was some chance of rain, but we'll see if that materialises or not. There's Devon Inu. Jordan Balon into Junior Rosero. Lovely feet by Rosero. There's a good recovery by Matt Berinja, who we've typically seen in wider positions for CPR, but they'll be in the centre of the park pulling the strings this evening. Saying before the game, Central Park Rangers coming into this evening in very poor form, just 2 points out of 5 games in March. Defence has really been their issue. Just hang on a second, that was a marvellous crossfield ball by Turpak. And brought down decently enough by Cameron Bonfields. That was well managed defensively. But CPR's problem has not been scoring goals, it's been keeping them out. Their last 3 games, or 2 even, they scored 5 goals, but they conceded 8, both those resulting in defeats. James Tristino into Junior Rosero, gets half a yard, catches it beautifully, and opens the scoring with a rip-roaring strike. It's signature Junior Rosero. And it's 1-0 the Pancyprians after less than 3 minutes. And that goal will mean so much to Rosero, who's been in and out of the Pancyprian side this season. He's shown right there the quality that he has. Give him half a yard and he will bite your hand off. And it's quite a welcome to the APSL for Beto Spielvogel. He did get a touch on it. but not enough to direct it around the post. So well caught by Rosero. And whatever game plan CPR might have had is already going to probably have to be altered. And that was the Pancyprians' 56th goal this season. In 17 games counting tonight. Only the Greeks have scored more, having scored 56 in 17 games. But of course, the Cyprians could potentially take that accolade tonight. Jordan Balon. Bit of space for Dylan Woods on the right side. Looking for the give and go with Junior Rosero, but well read by Turpak. And here's David Brown with his first touches on the ball. Just trod on the ball and that forced him backwards. Played down the channel. Here's Max Cherry. But Jens Hoff with the step. That ball looked like it had gone out. Moreno. Here's Devon Hinu. Again. Balon. CPR sitting very deep when the Pancyprians have the ball. And it is about a maximum dimensions field here at Randall's Island. And CPR, I'm sure, have done the homework and know how much the Pancyprians love the diagonal ball in behind the fullback. But sitting deeper, trying to deny the Blues that chance. But of course, sitting too deep also could be very perilous, as they found out a few moments ago with Junior Rosero's deadly finish. Hoff. Balon. Moreno. Tristino able to get a toe on it. The race is on between Dylan Woods and Jimmy Barrios. Barrios is certainly no slouch. And he cleared the ball out. Here's Woods. Hinu. Sebastian Ruiz. Jordan Balon. And it's off. Dylan Woods. Patient play by the Pancyprians. Moreno. Momo Sanya a little too heavy on his back, and it'll be a free kick for the Pancyprians. Balon wanted to take that quickly, but the referee being pedantic about the positioning. Vathazada. Jens Hoff. Vathazada. Hinu. Both Rosero and Tristino posted on the edge of the penalty area, waiting patiently for it. For CPR, it is brief touches of the ball. They've had almost no possession in these opening minutes. Hinu with a decent looking cross, and Tristino couldn't keep the finish down. Should have been 2-0. Beautiful cross whipped across the 6-yard box by Hinu. James Tristino penalised there for a late tackle on Jimmy Barrios. This will be launched forwards by Tepak. Dave Brown was looking for a foul, but there wasn't a lot in that. And that will go straight out for a goal kick for the Pancyprians. Jas Loyes will thunder that ball forwards. Ruiz couldn't quite bring it down. And something to note, again, not trying to CPR2 down, but another stat that will not give them a lot of hope tonight is they haven't scored yet against the Pancyprians in the APSL in any of those 3 games. Jordan Balon looking for a cutting ball into Tristino. It is all Pancyprians. Sebastian Ruiz. Moreno. And Berinja judged to have fouled him that time. And I have to say, I didn't actually see where the contact was there. Might have just had an arm swinging even. Moreno holding his face. Now guys, tonight's broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletic, who have made the world's most advanced and freshest cleat bag. It blocks smell, and they're giving the Game of Frame community a 10% discount. Scan the QR code and you can claim it. Fathazada standing over the free kick. Dinks it in, Hinu and Junior Rosero. Touch Took it out for a goal kick, ball was just behind him. Goal kick straight back to Fathazada, but his touch heavy. Really well played out of the pressure by the Pancyprians. Hoff, Dylan Woods pushing forwards at every opportunity. And Hoff, diagonal, well read by Cameron Bonfields. Devin Hinu. And finally Dylan Woods, who's been waiting patiently for it, gets it, but wasn't quite the pass he was looking for. Did well to keep it in. CPR just sitting so deep, no one even bothering to push Woods as he went back towards zone halfway line. And I think this is partly to blame for CPR having absolutely no possession in these first 15 minutes. When they do get a brief touch of the ball, there's no outlet at all. Jordan Bailon, Tristino, he's got Jimmy Barrios a little isolated here. Cross straight into the Barrios' shins. But Tristino will win the corner kick for the Pancyprians. Moreno delivers it in. Sloys probably could have done a little better with that chance. Got lots of power on it, but not the direction. Looked like it was decent height for him. Maybe he was slightly stretching to meet it. Sloys. Levine. This time the Central Park Rangers front line playing a bit more advanced of a press. But this is the conundrum. The Pancyprians so good at playing out of pressure usually. Intercepted by Jordan Bailon and kicked quite far into the Randall Island fields. Hino. Fathazada. Searching ball for Tristino. Veteran Valentin there to intercept. Dave Brown was looking for a free kick. No, nothing giving from the referee. Sebastian Ruiz. He goes down, the play continues, and it will be another corner kick for the Pancyprians. That second goal really feels imminent at the moment. Moreno again on set piece duty. Towards the near post, headed out comfortably enough and helped away by Cherry. Woods. Ruiz searching up front for Rosero. I'm not sure if CPR have strung together more than 2 passes yet, I think in succession. Fathazada. Hinu. Intercepted by Monfils and cleared out by Monfils. Hinu. Ruiz. Drilled it towards the 18-yard box. Omosanya met the first ball. It showed good strength that second. But again, the Pancyprian suffocating any breakout attempt by CPR. It's an absolute siege of the visitors' penalty area. One back again by the Pancyprians. Tristino coming into the 18-yard box. Brown did well there to support Barrios. And double up against Tristino. Hoff. Hinu. Ruiz. Clever reverse ball, but the offside flag will go up against Devin Hinu. Jacques Lois. Fatazada. Hoff. Jordan Balon. That's a clever ball towards Tristino. Just a fraction too much on the pass, but the gap was there. Wonderful vision. And a well-timed run by Tristino as well. Vogel goes straight down the middle. Good chest down by Cameron Bonfields. Omosanya finding Max Cherry. Good awareness by Matthew Beringer. Peter Berry. Mary back to Omosanya. Can CPR just have a bit of possession of the ball here and settle down after a very difficult first 22 minutes. Vogel went long and well, straight back by the Pancyprians, who certainly have the physical advantage overall in terms of height on the field with that back four, excluding Dylan Woods. Jordan Balon. Dylan Woods. Gets it back from Tristino. Hinu. Balon. Thought just for a second about taking a pop. Jens Hoff. Hinu. Sebastian Ruiz returns it to him, and that's going to be... I thought it was going to be a free kick, but actually nothing blown, and I think probably a fair tackle because Hinu made no complaint. Switched out to Dylan Woods, who's starting to get more of the ball on this right side. Lovely return by Rosero. Dylan Woods. And Turpak recovering, putting out for a corner kick. Again, Juan Moreno to take the corner kick. Out swinger. Jack Sloys. Fathazada. Lots of bodies yet to try and thread it through, and a black shirt got in the way. The one praise you can give CPR is, other than that fantastic long-range strike by Junior Rosero, and another very good chance for Tristino a few minutes after that, they haven't really given their Pancyprians a clear look at goal. Their slow block is mostly keeping the Blues in front of them, where CPR can see them. Rosero. Hino being invited forwards. Ruiz. Spielvogel watching that very carefully and comfortably gathering. It's not a great bit of distribution by Spielvogel. Dylan Woods penalised for the high foot. And this is probably just about in range for CPR to launch something into the penalty area. Turpak floating it in, didn't reach the penalty area. May still prove useful. Here's Jimmy Barrios. Nearly squeezed that into Max Cherry. It's back with Matthew Beringer. Peter Berry. Momo Sanya on the diagonal, but intercepted. Sebastian Ruiz. Fathazada holding off the attentions of Miri. And here's Sebastian Ruiz, who's off to the races. Peter Berry doing well to not totally eat Ruiz's fumes. Dylan Woods. Tristino. Moreno. He went down with contact behind him. Flag is up. Play continues. And the linesman's flag is still up. And the referee is going to ignore the flag. I'm not sure whether that was an offside flag or to indicate there was a foul. Sorry, I tried to block that ball there. Nearly did the hamstring. Not quite in the same condition as these players, let's say that. Well, certainly looked like there was some contact in behind Moreno at that front post. Here's Juan Moreno. That's a super ball, that's Sebastian Ruiz. Well dealt with initially by CPR. On Fields. Max Cherry. Too much on that return pass for Bonfields. We've got a big weekend coming up on Game and Frame. 17 matches in total. 3 in the American Premier Soccer League Metropolitan Conference. Hoboken against Central Park Rangers on Saturday night. Another big match for CPR as they try and get points on the board to pull themselves clear of the relegation scrap. Richmond against Doxa on Sunday night. That's going to be possibly the game of the weekend in terms of relegation 6-pointer. Both those teams right near the bottom. But Richmond in a good run of form. They've won their last 2. If they could beat Doxa, it will really give them a decent chance of surviving in their inaugural season in the APSL after being promoted from the CSL. And then we'll be back with the Pancyprians as they continue their hunt for the Metropolitan Division title against Kid Super. Whipped in towards that front post. It falls to Jack Sloys. Bounces around. And fortunately, the last ricochet took it close to Spielvogel. That really could have gone anywhere. Look at that for a turn by Dylan Woods. And Max Cherry looking a little worse for wear on that turn. I think he might have pulled something there. Fell quite heavily. CPR effectively down to 10 at the moment. Cherry limping back to the halfway line. He's going to try and run it off. That was a loose ball. Maybe Cherry does have some running in him. And Berinja just needs to pick his head up there. Cherry had a gap there on the left side. Instead, Berinja going for a 50-yard long-range effort. CPR do have someone stripped down on that far touchline. We might see a change relatively soon. Berinja. Just asked a little bit too much there on Fields, who did his absolute best to get on the end of that. Right, I think this will probably be the end of Max Cherry's night. Just in that 50-50 of Woods, they both turned very quickly, and I think as Cherry tried to change the direction, he's twisted or hurt something. Our stand-in medic Paul Contonis is going to bring out his stethoscope and try and figure out the problem. Maybe he's got some magic spray or something or other. Well, hopefully nothing too serious for Max Cherry. And whilst we had this pause, guys, I should also mention, we're now streaming, in case you weren't already aware, we're streaming all of our games now onto YouTube as well as GameandFrame.com. YouTube certainly is the preferred platform now because all the games are scheduled up there so you can see them well in advance. And definitely encourage you to give our channel a subscribe if you are watching on the YouTube. There's so much more action, like I said, coming up this weekend across the amateur soccer pyramid in New Jersey, New York and Delaware. As well as MLS Next, another academy action. We are the home of Northeast grassroots soccer. If you want to watch it, we've probably got it. And all for free as well, of course. That's a lovely back heel by Tristino. Dylan Woods, Pancyprian's clicking into gear. It can happen so quickly. Lovely combination. Tristino. Temperature certainly dropping here at Randall's Island. Doesn't feel too far above freezing at this point. May cannot come soon enough. Sebastian Ruiz. And it was Alon Zaman who came on for Max Cherry in the centre forward position for Central Park Rangers. Jordan Bailon. Hinu. Cass Lois. Hinu again. Good turn by Junior Rosero, who has another strike. Would have been interesting to see where that was going to end up. Play continues. And the referee is going to blow it. Someone for CPR took that Junior Rosero shot head on, and that's not to be trifled with. I think the Pancyprian's a little aggrieved because that ball looked like it was coming back to Rosero right on the edge of the penalty area, but the referee had no choice. That's a head injury. It was Mohamed Miri who took it right on the noggin. Omo Sanyo even, excuse me. He's going to trudge off for now. Definitely not for the faint-hearted to take a Junior Rosero shot right in the head. Restart with a drop ball, which CPR will get back to the Pancyprians, albeit quite a distance away from where they were. Well, I have to say, it's not much of a spectacle for the neutral, having one side trying to break down this very low block. Oh, there's been some debates about it in the professional game as well, how teams are playing it often against top sides. Man City struggled against it, Arsenal struggled against it. The Pancyprians have their goal, but other than that, not too many chances to speak of. It's just so hard to break down so many defenders when they're on the edge of their penalty area. And I think from a CPR perspective, just want to keep in this game for as long as possible. And if they can get this to the last 15, 20 minutes, then perhaps come out of the tortoise shell. See what they can do. Dylan Woods and Jack Sloyes going for glory, but sending it into orbit. Rosero. Fatazada. Clever ball into Moreno. Sebastian Ruiz. Rosero. Switches it out to Dylan Woods. It was slightly too high for the right back. He heads it out for a throw-in. Moreno slips it between the legs. James Tristino. Can the Pancyprians find the second before half time? They're going to have a corner kick. Everyone in and around the CPR penalty area other than Josh Levine, sent low towards the near post. Someone clearing it out. Josh Levine. Junior Rosero. Sebastian Ruiz. Rosero. Good strong defending by Berinja. And a clever reverse ball to Zaman. And once again, CPR going for a very ambitious effort from inside their own half. Sebastian Ruiz, and the flag is up against him. It's a big head by Sloyes. Junior Rosero. Dylan Woods. Tristino. Bailon. It's a lovely ball to Tristino, but he was offside. Bailon. That's not a good pass to Junior Rosero. And floated up towards Zeman, and that's interesting. Just for a second, but Lewin right off his line on the edge of his penalty area, just inside it together. Fathazada. Cultured ball into Sebastian Ruiz. Ruiz. And Moreno couldn't catch it cleanly. I can't imagine we'll have a huge amount of stoppage time, maybe a minute or two. But have to be careful with your stoppage time predictions as of late in the APSL. We've seen some shocking inconsistencies in some of the Metropolitan games in recent weeks. It has been a fair source of debate. Moreno. Yes, asked a little bit too much of Dylan Woods. Jens Hoff. Jordan Balon. And I think Hoff thought I was intended for Woods, who scampered back to make sure it didn't go out. Jordan Balon. There's behind James Tristino. And Barros tried to thread it down the line. Dylan Woods. Tristino can CPR hard out these last few seconds of the first half. Just keep that margin at 1 goal. Peter Berry reading that well, but he held on to it too long. Rosero. Sebastian Ruiz. Jinking and turning. Rosero. And I think the offside flag might have gone up there. It might have actually been a handball called. One of the two. And that's probably that for the first half. Junior Rosero's superb strike. 2.5 minutes into proceedings. Currently sending the Pancyprians 6 points clear of the Greeks at the top, and of course potentially Lansdowne depending upon their result this evening against Doxa. We'll see if CPR can muster something in the half-time break. Other than 2 very audacious long-range efforts, there's been no attempts on that Pancyprian goal, no serious scare at all for the league leaders. But the Pancyprians certainly are going to want to find that second goal to give themselves the cushion in the second half. But there is the half-time whistle. Pancyprians with the lead. But still, on paper, a very tight scoreline. CPR sitting very, very deep and overall defending well on the edge of their own 18-yard box. Let's see what the second half has in store. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back shortly.
My name is Austin Brummett. I'm a men's soccer player at San Diego State University, and I play forward. The Salt Air Case helps block odor from my cleats when I'm driving in my car or when I'm keeping my cleats inside my house, so I don't have to worry about it stinking up my room. It helps me keep track of my cleats and my shin guards, so I know that they're together, and I don't have to worry about tracking them down or losing them or stressing out about where they are. I would definitely rock this, walking to the games, walking around to my trainings, And it's super helpful for travel. When I travel in the airport to go to away games, it's not going to stink up my backpack or stink up the plane where I'm sitting. Magnetic strip on the top is super easy to open to take my cleats out and to put my cleats back in. I think it's an essential part of my outfit for soccer, and it helps keep all my stuff organized and stink-free.
A quality highlight reel is crucial for college and pro recruitment. A lot of services offer generic solutions, but at Game & Frame we know every player is unique and needs a personalised approach to win over coaches. Our process is simple. We work with any footage, and if you need help finding your best plays, we'll review games for you. Once we've finished, you'll have a reel you can upload to any recruitment platform. We've helped hundreds of players get the attention they deserve, including placements in Division 1 programs. Scan the QR code or email us for a free consultation and start the journey to maximize your recruitment potential. Hello everyone, welcome back to Randall's Island. Pancyprians have half the job done to extend their lead to 6 points at the top of the APSL Metropolitan division, which would mean they would need just 9 from their next 4 to win the league title with a game left to spare. And don't forget, if they don't do that, that final game at the end of the regular season is against Lansdowne Yonkers, who could well be in the title hunt still at that point, as well as the Greeks. The CPR played a very low block in that first half. It was undone early by Junior Rosero's long-range brilliance, but other than that, not too many chances afforded to the Pancyprians. But of course, the problem being CPR can only count their shots on one hand, and honestly, they only had about 4 or 5 touches, it felt like, in Pancyprian's half. So at some point, they're going to have to play a bit more positively, and that will obviously leave more frailties defensively, but we'll just see how this plays out. Whipped in towards Moreno, who was discombobulated. Popped up by Peter Berry. Jordan Balon. Sebastian Ruiz. Rosero. Well, wouldn't quite settle down for him. Jordan Balon. Fafazada. Clever ball to Hinu. But Bonfields was strong to shepherd him off of the ball. Neither team making changes in that half-time interval. But of course, CPR had to make the substitution midway through that first half for the injured Max Cherry. Alon Zeman coming on. Jack Sloy's letting fly. Spielman with the first save. That was a stinging strike. And Spielman didn't do particularly well with that. Punched it right back into the danger area. Very fortunate. It did land at the feet of James Tristino. Rosero. Ruiz. Floating it back in. Spielvogel keeping that to himself this time. Beringer. That's Lois. Dylan Woods. Jordan Balon. That's a great ball to Sebastian Ruiz, who's got some space ahead of him and lots of blue shirts that far post. Wasn't the best of crosses. Peter Berry intercepting. Devin Hinu. Pancyprians have already got CPR on the ropes in these opening moments. Bit more tempo to the Blues, which is what it's going to take to break through the low block. Lovely touch there by Mohamed Miri. Got one back by Samir Fathazada. Dylan Woods. Tristino back to Woods, who got clipped. There'll be a free kick and a good crossing position for the Pancyprians. Devin Hinu to deliver this ball in. Searching towards Hoff. That was a golden chance for a second. Didn't get clean contact at all. Lovely whipped in ball by Hinu. But the big Norwegian couldn't capitalise. Just 2 goals to Jens Hoffer's name this campaign. One of them, an all-important late stoppage time equaliser against Lansdowne back in October. And the late goals have proven so crucial to the Pancyprians. They've earned an additional 5 points this season from goals in the 90th minute or later. And all of those have come against top 4 sides there, competitors in the title race. There's just no outlet at all for CPR. A very familiar problem from the first half for the Reds. That's a great ball, fizzed into Sebastian Ruiz, dinks it back, and Tristino doubles the lead for the Pancyprians. His 11th of the league campaign. That's very hard to see a way back for Central Park Rangers now. Pancyprian surely going 6 points clear at the top of the APSL Metropolitan Conference. It's just a bit more tempo once again in the attack. That sliced open CPR's defence fizzed into Sebastian Ruiz, who took it under his spell expertly. Spielvogel got a hand to it, but only able to settle it into the path of Tristino, who is never going to miss. And that's his second goal against CPR this season. Both the Pancyprians goals coming early in its respective half. Rosero. The referee's going to make that throw and be taken again. Sebastian Ruiz. Moreno. Fafazada going down and letting out a yell. And there's a bit of confusion at the back there for the Pancyprians. That came off of Jimmy Barrios' hand. But that was a really good chance for a second for CPR. Levine and his back line at odds with each other, and that very nearly settled for Barrios with Levine in absolute no man's land. Sebastian Ruiz. James Tristino goes for the bicycle kick. Straight into the hands of Spielvogel. Jens off. Hinu. Sebastian Ruiz. Moreno back to Ruiz. Surrounded by black shirts, but that might not necessarily stop him. He'll win a corner kick. Taken quickly. Hinu. Another really good cross by him. Jordan Bailon. Jens off. Tristino shapes it up and it's touched round the post. A very good fingertip save by Spielvogel. Tristino looked as if he crafted a beautiful strike into that far post, but a good save. But it is feeling quite ominous at the moment for CPR that the floodgates may open. Pancyprian's created a lot of chances in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Hino again, it's another useful delivery. A couple of players went down in the box. They're going to have to just settle for another corner. Let's see what Hinu can serve up this time. Towards the near post. Valentin positioned to meet it. Samir Fathazada drills it in. Moreno keeps it alive and Spielvogel alive at the near post. It's becoming a progressively busy debut in between the sticks for Beto Spielvogel. Moreno this time with the corner kick. And no one got a touch on it. A reminder, tonight's broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletic, who made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag. Their case uses anti-microbial technology to block odour and smell. And they're offering the Game and Frame community a 10% discount. Scan the QR code to get that discount off your air case. Big thank you to them for being the presenting partner for Game and Frame in the 24-25 season. So if you're a CPR, do just go for this at this point. Feel like you have nothing to lose, or is it about damage control? And try and not let this scoreline totally run away from them, as it has a few times against the top three in other games this campaign. At the moment, you say they are probably opting for the latter, damage control. There was just a brief glint at goal for Jimmy Barrios after the Pancyprian second goal had gone in. And of course, if they can get it back to a one-goal margin, things can change quite quickly mentally. But that's a big task for CPR to stop the ball going in the back of the net with this front three. Rosero showed a little bit too much to the ball that time. Bailon. Hinu. There's a tread on the heel of Juan Moreno. It looks as if there's some activity on the Pancyprian's bench. I think we're going to get a few changes shortly. Ruiz dinking it in. Zico able to clear the lines. And they'll win the free kick. Taken quickly. Turpak. And that looked like off the ball barge there by Jens Hoff. And then Barrios having a tug at his shoulder. The referee waited to see if there's an advantage for Barrios. There wasn't. I think that's certainly the right call by the referee. Here's Zaman. Barrios will keep the ball in. Too much shown to Fathazada, and CPR pushed up quite a lot of numbers. Ruiz is steaming forwards on the far side. Fathazada finds him. Ruiz against Peter Berry. Sebastian Ruiz. Unable to pick up teammate, and almost Sanya bringing it out. Good step by Jack Sloys. Sloys still. Junior Rosero buys himself half a yard. But Mohamed Miri kept nipping away at his heels. Tristino back into the mixer. Jack Sloys all the way up there. Showing perhaps his lack of striker's instincts there with that touch. And you did it, a good stinging strike at the start of this half. It just isn't good enough from CPR when they have the ball. They've got to be more careful. I think it's partly the front three just aren't doing enough to present themselves as options. They're letting the defenders step up and intercept too easily. Looks like we might be about to get 4 changes for the Pancyprians. Rosero, Jack Sloys and Tristino all having their numbers raised, and it looks as if Sebastian Ruiz perhaps as well. We'll just see who it is. Or actually it's Juan Moreno. And Central Park Rangers will make a change too. Nicholas Lonka coming on at centre forwards for the Pancyprians. And get my bearing in a few minutes with who else has come on. It looks like Dennis Kamende on at left back for Pancyprians. He knew he has gone into central defence. Kamende's been very impressive in the appearances I've seen from him. Gave a really good attacking outlet for the Pancyprians in the Open Cup second round game against Westchester on the left side. Putting some brilliant crosses. Shoros also on for the Pancyprians. Kamende. Decent defending by Peter Berry. And Ricard Cederberg also has come on. So actually, excuse me, I think Hinu stayed at left back, and Kamende is on at the left wing position for the Pancyprians. Cederberg, another new signing this second half of the season. See the bag will go back to Josh Levine. And it looks as if Jimmy Barrios is almost in a front two now with Zuman, and Barrios does have a lot of pace to him for the counter-attack. Kelmende. Fathazada has got a bit of space, returns it towards the direction of Kelmende. The pass was overhit. Actually, I'm not sure if CPR did make a change in the last interval. We're just trying to confirm that. It's Amon Ziman who was substituted on in the first half for Max Jerry, who's going to be replaced. And actually, CPR had made a change a few moments ago, and it was Jaden Young on. And just right now it's Bruno Vissi on for CPR2. One back by the Pancyprians. Dennis Kelmende coming into the area. Mosanya's got to be careful, and he defended that really well. Fathazada will swing this ball towards the far post. Spielvogel was totally floundering. I think he got a slight touch on it, and that smashed it onto the head of Jens Hoff with the goal gaping. I'm not sure that big Norwegian knew too much about it, to be fair to him. The ball was so close to him by the time he took a deflection for Spielvogel. Inu. Kelmende. Cedarberg. Fathazada. Kelmende. Jaden Young there to meet it. Miri. Berinja. Well, one back by Fathazada. Cedarberg rides the tackle, Berinja, and works then to Shoros. Well done there by Ricard Cedarberg. Zilonka. Fathazada. Kelmende. Hinu tried to force that switch. Klepak was able to clear it. Kelmende. Zilonka. Kelmende again. Shoros. That's a sharp spin. There's Fathazada even, excuse me. Really good spin by Samir Fathazada. It's quite a narrow angle as he took the shot, but he definitely had a chance there. Foot or so wide in the near post. David Brown replaced for CPR. I believe it's Ayman Mohammed who's come on for him. So Vissi back to Beringer. That's all of CPR's outfield changes made. All of them actually altogether don't have a substitute goalkeeper today. Hinu. Zielonka. Well defended once again by Omo Sanya. So we're in the final 20 minutes. 2-0 here. Junior Rosero and James Justino both on the score sheet. Now again, a reminder of where that will leave the table standings. At the top of the table, the Pancyprians will be on 44 points with 5 games left to play in the season. The Greek Americans on 38, so 6 points behind the Pancyprians, and then Lanzan Yonkers, if they have beaten Doxa, which should have finished a few minutes ago, I believe. If Lanzan win that, they'll also be 6 points behind the Pancyprians, and then Manhattan Celtic out of the title race at this point, but very likely to be qualifying for the playoffs for the first time in their history, sitting on 32. And I won't even get to what the bottom half of the table looks like, because it's so tight, and it could look quite different to what it was at the start of the evening, with 4 teams from the bottom half playing tonight. Devin Hinu. And all these teams will be back at it quickly again on the weekend. Kamende. Hinu. Zielonka. Really positive play by Devin Hinu, who's been a very useful addition indeed to the Pancyprians. Jimmy Barrios. Elon poking a foot in. A reminder of what we've got coming up this weekend from the American Premier Soccer League. 17 games in total on Game of Frame this weekend. You can see the full lineup on YouTube. They're all scheduled. Here's the APSL Metropolitan games. Hoboken against Central Park Rangers at 7:30 p.m. Hoboken in really poor form themselves. They are still winless since the winter break, Hoboken, and that's what's really dropped them off the pace of the Metropolitan title race, or a Metropolitan playoff race even. So CPR may see that as a chance for them to get some more points to the board, which they really do need to do to take themselves away from the relegation zone. They're on 16 right now. Again, it's so tight at the bottom half of the table. CPR start of the evening just 4 points ahead of Vistula, who are at the bottom. But Vistula playing Zoom tonight. Of course, that could change. Last year, Nyack very narrowly survived the drop with 19 points. That is probably enough for a team to stay up. We'll have to see. I think what's going to make it such an exciting conclusion to the relegation battle is the fact that there's very little to call between any of the teams from 6th place and below. The results have shown that. They've typically been fine margin contests. There's a lot of meetings between all those teams to go in the final quarter of the season. Every single one potentially pivotal in deciding who will stay up. Shoros. So Bastian Ruiz is on the right side now for the Pancyprians, and Zielonka. Too much on it for him. Zielonka. Shoros. Ran into two black shirts, and that'll be a free kick for CPR. And a yellow card for Shoros, who was clumsy in the tackle. So, no ill intent in it. Balon. Fatazada. That'll be a free kick. And the Pancyprians just asking the question of the referee why that wasn't a yellow card if the last one was. Fatazada, who I imagine is the most fouled player in APSL history, adds another to the record. Ruiz and Jens Hoff. Oh, critical touch by Valentin. Kalmendi was waiting eagerly behind him. Dylan Woods. Shoros. That was not the right pass. Good ball by Berinja up to Barrios, but he's an isolated figure. Miri. Barry wins it back again, Berinja. Going back to Josh Levine. And if there is a time for them to go for this one, it is now for CPR. They're not out of sight of the Pancyprians, despite how one-sided this game has been. They can just find a goal from somewhere. Suddenly, the complexion of these final stages of the game are going to look very different. Shoros. Zielonka. Kalmendi. Zielonka again. Good footwork by Mohamed Miri. Miri again. One back by Ruiz. Shoros. Heavy with his touch. Ruiz, look at that, Ole. And he'll win a free kick in a good crossing position. And another yellow dished out by the referee. Damon Heaney will have another crack with the free kick delivery. Towards the far post. A little too high for Jens Hoff. And it looks like we're probably not going to see Joe Holland tonight. Which certainly makes sense for the Pancyprians with the scoreline as it is. Again, he was complaining with a bit of a sore knee before the game. And he's approaching his 32nd year, Holland. You wouldn't know it when you see him on the field, moving around as freely as ever, but perhaps internally he's starting to feel a bit more the effects of age, quite understandably. It is quite a feat to be able to play at the level he is as an amateur footballer as well. At that age of 32, he's playing at such high intensity still. And in the second half of the Open Cup game against Westchester, he really ran that midfield, along with a few of the other Blues in the middle. Jordan Balon showed a little bit too much to Berinja, and Barrios for a second saw a chance, and he is playing as that one out centre forwards now, which is certainly the smart thing for CPR, given his pace. Hoff. Balon. Fafazada. Zielonka spins, shoots. And another smart save by Spielvogel. That was really moving. I think it's been a mixed debut for Spielvogel. Perhaps could have done slightly more on the goals. Although honestly, I'd have to watch it back. Maybe I'd be a little harsh on him. It was very well caught by Rosario, but he got a hand to it, and whenever you get a hand to it as a keeper, you probably feel as if maybe you could have kept it out. That's fired in. And there's a push there in the box. And the second one as well, I just wonder, perhaps that could have punched the ball a little bit more away from the danger area. Spotted it right at the feet of Tristina, but again, cross was coming at decent speed. Has made some other good stops tonight, Spielvogel. Sebastian Ruiz. Charos. Zielonka couldn't get it under control. Mohamed. Jordan Balon. He's won so many balls back in the midfield for the Pancyprians. Hinu. Space here for Dennis Kamende. Zielonka! And that's a magnificent save by Beto Spielvogel, who I was just talking about. They did really well to stop that. Zielonka got a lot of power on it. A really strong hand to get it away from the goal. Lovely ball by Kamende. He's got quite a left foot on him. Balon will take this corner. At that near post, very good chance for Zielonka once again. 2 goals in the APSL for Zielonka since he joined the Pancyprians over the winter break. Very good addition to the squad. We've seen him previously in USL2 for Hudson Valley Hammers. Spearheaded the attack of the team that made the USL2 Northeast Conference Finals in 2023. Savitsi. Miri. Oh, it's a total muddle for CPR. Spielvogel, the only one who had his wits about him. Calamity of areas between Mohamed Miri and Chris Valentine. Jordan Bailon catches it well. Couple of feet wide and took a touch on the way in. Corner kick for the Pancyprians. Well in the double digits now with the corners. Well, the rain that was forecasted has never materialised, thankfully for everyone, because it is a really chilly night. And I tell you what, if you added rain to that, it'd be quite miserable for everyone out on the field. Bailon, Spielvogel punching. And Barris is going to look to start the counter-attack, but Fafazada clever just to get his body in the way. Ruiz, uncharacteristic misplacement with the touch, but able to recover quickly enough, and then he lets fly, and he had Spielvogel scampering across the goal. Well, CPR have kept their scoreline respectable. They have overall defended well, with an extremely conservative approach tonight. They've had glimmers of attacks, but just glimmers, nothing really serious to threaten the Pancyprians in the entire contest. It's been very rare that they've had any sort of possession either, truthfully. Choros. Fafazada. A little bit too much on it for Dylan Woods, who just stepped, I think, funnily on the ankle there. He's hobbling. It's off. Clemente. That's had a lovely touch into Devon Hinu. Fafazada.
What? Are you fucking kidding?
And the referee overturning his linesman. Good step by Fafazada. He's won a lot of balls back himself in this contest. Mohamed winning it back there, though. Time for a late consolation goal for CPR. I don't think much more than that. Fafazada. Breaking crossfield ball. Mendy keeps it in. Choros. Sebastian Ruiz. Set up decently for him, but couldn't keep it down. And again, reminder guys, so much more action coming up on Game of Frame this weekend. 17 games in total. Here's the 3 we're going to have from the APSL Metropolitan Division. Hoboken against CPR on Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Richmond against Doxa in a relegation 6-pointer at 8 p.m. on Sunday, and the Pancyprians back at St. John's against Kids Super, also 8 p.m. on Sunday night. After this evening, Pancyprians need 10 points from their next 4 games to reclaim the APSL Metropolitan title from Lansdowne Yonkers. And the next 4 games on paper, it would all feel like the Pancyprians will win. But the APSL has become more and more competitive as the seasons have gone on, and you can't take anything for granted anymore. There will be bumps in the roads, and there may be more than that for the Pancyprians as they try and cross the finish line. And then, of course, after the regular season, there'll be the Metropolitan playoffs as well, vying for a spot in the APSL Final Four, which will be in June. And that is a trophy, a rare trophy that has eluded the Pancyprians. They got knocked out in the Metropolitan final by the eventual national winners, the Greek Americans, last year. And then in 2023, they made the Final Four of the Nationals, lost to the winners Nova, and in 2022 they made the final of the Nationals and lost to Nova. Should have mentioned Nova, the finalists last year as well, but the Greeks beating them in that deservedly so. Played a very good game. Barrios. CPR enjoying a rare spell of possession at the tail end of this contest. But nothing more than that. There goes the full-time whistle. The Pancyprians getting the job done tonight. They extend their lead at the top of the table back to 6 points of the Greeks, and then Lansdowne will stay within 6 points as well, presuming they beat Doxers tonight. But now the Pancyprians need 10 points from their remaining 4 games to lift the league title. They are closing in, not there yet, but another step in that direction. Well, guys, we'll see if we can get ourselves a post-match interview. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
My name is Austin Brummett. I'm a men's soccer player at San Diego State University, and I play forward. The Salt Air Case helps block odor from my cleats when I'm driving in my car or when I'm keeping my cleats inside my house, so I don't have to worry about it stinking up my room. It helps me keep track of my cleats and my shin guards, so I know that they're together, and I don't have to worry about tracking them down or losing them or stressing out about where they are. I would definitely rock this, walking to the games, walking around to my trainings. And it's super helpful for travel. When I travel in the airport to go to away games, it's not going to stink up my backpack or stink up the plane where I'm sitting. Magnetic strip on the top is super easy to open to take my cleats out and to put my cleats back in. I think it's an essential part of my outfit for soccer, and it helps keep all my stuff organized and stink-free.
A quality highlight reel is crucial for college and pro recruitment. A lot of services offer generic solutions, but at Game and Frame we know every player is unique and needs a personalised approach to win over coaches. Our process is simple. We work with any footage, and if you need help finding your best plays, we'll review games for you. Once we've finished, you'll have a reel you can upload to any recruitment platform. We've helped hundreds of players get the attention they deserve, including placements in Division 1 programs. Scan the QR code or email us for a free consultation and start the journey to maximize your recruitment potential. Hey guys, I'm here with Samir Fathzada. You certainly ran the midfield today. CPR facing you guys with a very, very low block. What was the key for you guys overcoming them?
Yeah, just stay patient, work the ball around the spaces, move it side to side, and then yeah, we got a couple of snipers on the team, as you've seen. Great first goal. It's early. It's good to get an early goal, and then yeah, it gives us a little bit of a confidence boost as well.
You've had quite a lot of new signings made over the winter break. Do you feel like everything's gelling nicely as everyone's getting more time together?
Yeah, for sure. It's not easy coming onto the team, but we do have a lot of quality, and as you can see, we did have a little bit of a rotation, but yeah, coach is trusting everyone to come on and take care of business.
You guys need 10 points from your next 4 games to guarantee winning the league. If you don't do that, then it's going to come down to a showdown against Lansdowne on the final day. What do you think is going to be the key for you in these next few games to try and secure that silverware?
It's gonna be one game at a time. I know it's 10 points, but we don't look at it that way. We just look at it one game at a time, and it's just the most important. So we're not thinking about the 3 last games. We're thinking about the next game only.
You got Sebastian Ruiz and the Junior Rosero over there. Junior should be doing this interview after that goal, but Samir, yeah, well, congratulations on the victory tonight. Well played in the midfield.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you get warm and hope you get some rest.
Yeah, you as well. Good night, guys. Thank you.
We'll see you on Sunday, mate.
Yeah.
Well, that just about does it from us here down at Randall's Island. Guys, reminder, we've got so much action coming up on Game and Frame this weekend. 17 games in total, 3 from the APSL Metropolitan Division. Hoboken against Central Park Rangers on Saturday night, and then Doxa against Richmond and the Pancyprians against Kids Super on Sunday. You can see the full schedule on YouTube, all free to watch. But for now, we're going to be signing off here. A big thank you to JP Zucatu for braving the cold out behind the camera, doing excellent work with me tonight. Thank you for the Pancyprians for bringing us down here. Thanks to Salt Athletic, our sponsor. Thank you to all of you for watching. This is Josh Pratt signing off. Have a good night, everyone.